welcome back, everybody, to Pushing Buttons Podcast. This is Kyle.
This is Robert.
This is Kevin.
And, welcome back to our podcast where we express our opinions, experiences, ideas, and just general thoughts on the video game industry. So I'm now back. I know I was absent last week.
How was your trip to Jupiter?
It was awesome.
Did you get to meet Elon Musk?
I did see his Tesla space car.
Nice.
I mean, the astronaut looked pretty happy in there.
There was an astronaut driving it?
Yeah, he was waving at me, and
Oh.
I kind of...
He recognized you specifically from the show, though, right?
Yeah.
Even though he's never seen you on the show because this is an audio-only
Well,
podcast.
isn't it
You could
true
tell from
with...
the voice.
It's just the excitement. It's like, that guy likes video games.
It was, to borrow a word from Robert, mercurial.
That's a good word.
Thank you.
So when somebody asks you what's the good word, just say mercurial.
Mercurial.
Yeah. It's a good word.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically I took a week off just to spend time with my girlfriend, and
She went to Jupiter, too?
she did.
How'd she like it? Did you guys make it, first
she
of all?
loved it. Yeah, we did.
Okay.
We made it all the way. Basically, I spent the week just, taking day trips here and there and doing some hikes, going to the coast, and spent a lot of time diving into a few games I'd like to talk about later.
Cool.
If there's time.
You can talk about it now.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you guys what you've been up to first
Okay.
I haven't been up to anything.
this past week.
I haven't done anything this week besides...
No games this week?
No games this week.
Oh, that's sad.
Haven't played a single one.
Yikes.
I had
What have you been doing with
I had
your
24 hours to edit the last episode of the podcast. I did that. Then been working and not doing a whole lot else.
That's fair. We all have those weeks.
time? Yeah, they come and go. How about you, Robert?
Well, I was talking about last episode how I finished Assassin's Creed and I needed a new game.
Yes.
So I picked up Battlefield 1, which I got, I think, last year on Black Friday for like 10 or 15 bucks. And I'm not playing any multiplayer, but I'm started playing the war stories. And I'm really enjoying those a lot. How it's not a typical campaign where you're one character and you're going through the whole, 6-7 hours or whatever. There's like 5 different characters you play as.
So kind of like the Star Wars Battlefront 2 Xbox version. Not the new one, but
Right,
the
the
old one
original
where
one.
you...
Oh,
or was it the
original
first
Xbox.
Battlefront?
The
Was it-
original.
It's
Yeah.
been so long since I played those original ones. I don't
One of those
remember how
first
they
two
were.
had a campaign where it wasn't a campaign. You had like one mission from this, one mission from that, and you were playing as different characters in each mission.
Could have been. Like I said, I don't remember, so I can't say for sure, but
Let's go with
it's
maybe.
a
It's a
solid
hard maybe.
yeah.
Hard, solid, whatever.
So it's like different parts of the war. So you got one storyline, you're an airman doing dogfights and all that. Another one, you're in a tank. Another one, you're like a Italian, like heavy soldier or whatever. He's got like a full suit of armor and stuff.
That's
It's really cool. And they're all like maybe an hour and a half.
So
There's
is
like
that
2 or
like-
3 missions with each character.
Is that like the tutorial of the game,
It-
essentially?
Basically, each one is kind of showing you a different aspect of the game. So when you go to multiplayer, it's
Gotcha.
like that. But they actually put effort into it, and the stories are actually really well done.
That's
Like I
weird.
was surprised at the level of writing, even
I'm
though they're
surprised
so
hearing
short.
Yeah,
But the writing and like the cutscenes and all that.
that's cool.
So been enjoying that a lot, and then I'm excited about the Xbox sale that's going on. I downloaded Inside last night,
Nice.
and
That's
after
a great game. You'll
af-
love it.
I finish Limbo, which I don't know when I will, but I'll play that next. And
You'll knock it out this weekend, I'm sure.
maybe
It's not terribly long.
no, but I keep dying, and that kind of makes me want to play other things. But yeah, so that's after that, and then I'm gonna go home tonight and find some more games that are on sale and download those. So.
Sounds like you caught the Kevin Steam bug.
I really did, because before I would never pay attention to the sales because I didn't care about downloading digital games.
Mhm.
And there's some games where I'm gonna wait till I get physically, but yeah, it's it's nice having a bigger hard drive, so I can actually hold all those games now.
What size hard drive does your Xbox One have?
It comes with the 1 terabyte,
Okay.
but I already
Yeah,
have
it's
a 2 or 3 terabyte external hard drive.
Gotcha.
On those.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had when I bought my PS4, I actually had to buy the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 version of it because it was the only 1 terabyte hard drive version of the PS4 I could find anywhere locally. And I didn't want to drive out of town anywhere.
Right. Or wait for it to come in the mail.
Right. That was before we had Amazon Prime and stuff, and yeah,
Prime changes your life, man.
it really does.
Yeah.
Indeed.
So, what games were you playing, Kyle?
Well, to catch up, that first weekend I had off, I played through the entirety of Detroit Become Human.
Nice.
I can't really discuss it too much because I listened to the previous episode,
Yeah.
and it sounds like you didn't make it too far.
No.
But, man, that was a really good ride, though. I really enjoyed Connor's character.
Mhm.
I think out of all three of them, he had the best story. I really want to go into more detail, but I don't want to spoil it for you.
So
But,
far, the one that I'm enjoying the most is the helper of the old guy, the android that helps out the old
Marcus.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And without going into too much spoiler, there was one scene close to the beginning of the game that was kind of a terrifying scene with that character with
Really?
Marcus.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it's supposed to be more terrifying than it actually was. I kind of just started laughing when I was playing it.
Oh, really?
I can't get in the mindset that I think I'm supposed to be in when I play those games. I don't take them seriously,
Oh,
which is
okay.
how I have fun playing those games. So it works for me. How do you compare that game though to the past Quantic Dream games?
Oh, by far it's the best one.
Okay.
It's by far the best one.
Did you enjoy Beyond Two Souls?
Not so much. I played through it, I think, relatively soon after its release. Not like for day one purchase or anything.
Right.
But I don't know what it was about Beyond Two Souls, but Ellen Page just didn't seem like a really good lead character for me. Her character, not the actress herself. But,
Right.
and Willem Dafoe was great in it, but he wasn't really utilized very much.
Right.
I didn't realize he was in that game.
And
It's like his face and everything.
there's just a giant portion of that game in the middle where it's a slog to get through. It doesn't seem like the story moves forward very much until the very end.
Yeah.
And this game is the exact opposite. I
Yeah.
feel like there's always a set piece that you're like willing to find out the
Each-
next portion of the story.
I feel like each mission, for the lack of a better term, actually adds something to the story. There is progression in everyone, whether it's finding out the backstory behind the lives of the people that have these androids. And I don't know much else beyond that because I haven't
I mean,
played past the beginning of the game.
I was listening to you both talk a little bit about it, and you mentioned how Westworld was kind of a lead to this type of game being released.
Yeah.
I just feel like the timing of the game is spot on with the popularity of Westworld and other shows like it, like Altered Carbon on Netflix as well. I just felt like it was a really good additional piece of that cyberpunk futuristic storyline.
Yeah.
There's another show too, trying to remember the name of it, Humans,
I have heard of that.
on AMC. That's kind of like a similar plot where androids that are in caretakers' homes start to be, self-cognizant.
This does not bode well for the eventual AI uprising.
I'm excited for it, though.
Yeah, I think I'll do fairly well for myself, but, if they look back at all this media that we have of them, they're going to learn.
As long as
Yeah.
they
Like-
watch The Matrix first, because that first Matrix movie was pretty cool.
Yeah, just keep them away
That's
from
good.
Terminator, and we should be good.
No Skynet.
They could watch Terminator 2.
But
Yeah.
I would really love to discuss that game further with you, Kevin, as you get further in the game.
Yeah.
Because I really want to know how your other choices... Because I was looking at your choices
Uh-huh.
while I was playing.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, we actually kind of fell in line
Uh-huh.
for most of it.
I looked at your trophies, actually.
Oh, yeah?
For what, and we had almost by the time I stopped playing, you were playing like the same time that I was playing, and
Yeah.
we had all the same trophies at every point for the most part.
I mean, I see you kind of following the same path as I did. I really do.
Yeah,
Especially with Marcus.
and like I said last week, I'm excited to see my fiance end up playing it. to see where she goes with it.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun to hear your account of your time with the game.
What else did you play?
Well, you probably got a peek of this as well, but I started playing another MMO.
I did see that.
Yes. My girlfriend is a huge fan of Final Fantasy XIV, so I spent most of my gaming time after beating Detroit Become Human, leveling up a character in Final Fantasy XIV.
See, I didn't know if you were playing that or if she was playing it
Yeah.
on your account.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't know, and I kept meaning to ask you about it, but I kept forgetting.
I wanted to save it for the show.
Yeah, it was good that I kept forgetting.
This is
then.
why I need to get a PlayStation again so I can spy on
So
what you guys are doing.
So you can e-stock us.
Yeah.
I have a lot to talk about it, but I don't want to take too much time. I chose a pugilist, and when you reach a certain level, I think it's level 30, you get a job class, and your class basically upgrades to a whole different character,
Okay.
and it becomes a monk. The closest thing I could really describe to it would be the monk from Diablo 3.
Okay.
It kind of plays the same way. Mostly the story-related quests drive the plot, and there's cutscenes in the game which take up a lot of time.
It's a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, exactly. And I just find the community to be more welcoming, more so than World of Warcraft.
That makes sense.
I joined my girlfriend's free company, which is Guild,
Okay.
for World of Warcraft. And everyone on there was awesome. Like, I haven't had that kind of camaraderie in an MMO game since the early days of WoW.
If you would have
But it
played
was
Star
still
Wars
new.
Galaxies,
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, you would know
Yeah.
more about that.
those guilds in that game were like a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Like you actually felt like it was before Discord, before Skype. We talked on Ventrilo all the time, and even when we weren't playing the game, like after school, I'd hop on and just talk to the people, see what they were doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were always playing the game, but
Yeah, whenever I get home from work this week, I hop on. Everyone's like, "Hey, what's going on?"
Right.
Everyone knows
Hey,
me.
man.
I'm like, "Whoa, this is weird."
you
But at
respond
the
with,
same
"Hey,
time,
listen to my podcast."
eventually.
You gotta slip it in there nice and easy.
But I really love the game's combat system. I really find it engaging more so than World of Warcraft's.
Mhm.
I mean, granted, I only have the one class to base it off of. But playing the monk, you have to move around positionally around the enemy to do
That's
different
cool.
amounts of damage.
So you're not just standing in one place whacking buttons.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Whacking buttons. When
pushing
the name of the
buttons.
podcast is pushing buttons, I go for a totally
You
different
went with
term.
whacking. Thwacking.
Always go with thwacking.
to compare it to World of Warcraft, the closest class I can really think of that would be affected in the same manner would be the rogue class.
Mhm.
Where
That's
you have
why
to
I
be
prefer
behind
playing
them.
the rogue when I played that game.
Yeah, and with the monk, you actually have to go to the flank, go behind, go front,
That's
or
cool.
even like with the AoE attacks, you have to line it up so that you're straight ahead or at an angle, and it makes it really fun to play.
That's cool. More interactive.
Yeah, I would say so. I got to level 50, which is apparently really hard to do because everybody in the free company was like, "Wow, you're going so fast!" And I was
They
like,
don't know you very well.
No, they don't.
Mr. 100% or
I was going to say.
But yeah, I just steamrolled the content, and I'm still doing the main story quest line. It's really long to get into the Heaven's Ward expansion, and from there, there's like a whole another main story quest line that takes you to Stormblood expansion. So I still got a lot of work cut out ahead of me.
Did you ever try Guild Wars 2?
No,
I think you would have had fun with that when it came out. It was
I've
a
heard
fun
good
game.
things about it.
It was
but
good.
I heard it kind of really dropped off.
It did. They kind of did what World of Warcraft did, and they made it so like everything was different in the world. Like cities got destroyed. And,
I see. Kind of
yeah,
like the Cataclysm.
exactly.
expansion.
Yeah. It was. I don't know what the timeline of it was. I'm sure WoW did it way before Guild Wars 2 did, but they probably saw the trend that WoW was taking and said, "Hey, we should do the same thing." And a lot of people really liked it in Guild Wars 2, from my understanding, my limited experience with that game. I think you would have enjoyed that at the time. Not
I
so
did
much
see
now.
some gameplay of it. It looked kind of interesting, but at the
It was
time, that was like when peak WoW for me. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Peak WoW.
Peak WoW.
It's a great
Wow.
phrase. I was actually thinking about jumping on the MMO train. I noticed Elder Scrolls Online was $10. on
Is that with
Xbox
all
last night.
the expansions?
No, just the base game and I think the Morrowind.
Gotcha. They just released
that's-
another one, didn't they?
Mhm.
The Somerset?
Somerset, yeah.
Yeah.
But for $10, I was pondering it. But
I didn't like that game.
no,
I played it was pre-release. It was the open beta on the PC, so it could be totally different now.
did it feel like you were playing an Elder Scrolls game though, or was it completely different?
It felt like I was playing a watered-down Guild Wars,
Oh, okay.
is what it felt like. With some elements of what Sony did to Star Wars Galaxies when they messed that game up. It felt horrible to me. But it's because it brought back those terrible Star Wars Galaxies memories. But it's probably a lot different now, and I know the game's thriving, so it's got to be.
Yeah, I know they had, I think, what was it Tamriel 1 or something like that? They had a big update.
Yeah.
And I
They
heard
pulled The
that
Witcher.
fixed a lot.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But I was pondering that. I don't know if I will because I don't think there'd be a lot for me to do by myself.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know how open I would be to
Playing
joining
with
up
people
with
you
other
don't know.
people.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I have a microphone for my Xbox anymore. So,
Just take one of these.
yeah, there we go.
XLR will totally plug right into your Xbox.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm mostly restricted in my communication in Final Fantasy XIV because I have to use the PS4 controller, which is terrible.
Yeah.
But I'm still really getting a feel for the game. I really like where it's going though. Like with the story as well as my character progression, I really feel like I've gotten really strong
Yeah.
over the course of 50 levels, which is really great to see. I mean, World of Warcraft does that well, of course, as well. But I think with Final Fantasy XIV, you just have more fun doing it because of the way the world is, as well as your character's abilities, like the animations, as well as the graphic effects for your abilities. They're just more fun to look at. Explosions. Explosions.
Boom.
But yeah, I'm really excited to keep playing. I think it's going to be a good ride.
Nice. So
Really having fun.
speaking of excitement, E3 for us is right around the corner. I know
is.
as of the time this podcast goes up, all the press conferences have been done and over with, but we're recording this on Friday, so we don't know what's been announced for sure. All we have are the rumors. But we know there's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype that goes into E3 and into conventions like PAX, and we want to talk about just conventions in general and what kind of effect hype has on video games before they come out, if it's good, if it's bad, when it's good and bad, and just have an open discussion about that and see what experiences we've had. Particularly, I guess, with E3, just because it is the big thing around the corner. That's the name of this episode. The big thing around
Big
the
thing
corner.
around the corner. I like it.
Upgrade your camel.
Well, Kyle, I believe
Should I get started?
you're the most excited about
I am.
E3.
I think E3 is a time for all gamers to come together and rejoice at all the awesome games coming out that are announced. Like, I know for me personally, the Sony conference is a must-see. Absolutely. Like, I have to be in the moment. I have to see
Watch it live.
Last of Us gameplay as well as Death Stranding gameplay. And I want to be there when Bloodborne Tunes is announced. I have to be there. I gotta be like, yes! Finally! I can't wait to play that game whenever it comes out.
So do you like the presentation of those presentations, the press conferences, how they have someone walk up on stage, say, this is what we're doing, and I'm glad that I can do this for you. Here's a trailer of 50 games that are coming out within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And do you like that, or would you rather just see trailer after trailer after trailer and not hear the guys come up on stage and talk about stuff?
Basically, for me, it's always either a gameplay trailer I'm like really craving to see, or just some kind of live demo of the game.
Oh, see, I hate those live demos.
It depends
enjoy
on the
those.
game. I know there have been some like incredibly bad ones.
Ones where they're obviously not actually playing the game.
That or the game just doesn't have the same resonance
Yeah.
with the viewer base as it does with the people on the stage.
Yeah, that's called Just Dance.
I always
Also,
love the awkward audience reactions.
Wii Music.
That's great.
In 2008,
Yeah.
that was great.
I always look forward to, for some reason, and I bring this up, this is the new Stargate. It's Ubisoft. I look forward to their press conference every year, whether or not Aisha Tyler is doing it, because I don't dislike her. But it's not about the presentation itself. It's about them it's the way they present things. They always think that they're on top of everything and they're at the forefront of what's going to be big in gaming. And I like hearing them talk about themselves and then seeing every game be the exact same. It's a pretty pessimistic view on things.
That's
but
where you get enjoyment from.
when it comes to AAA games, though, Ubisoft has the games that I play the most. So obviously, as much as I talk crap about them, they're doing something right. If it's even catching negative Kevin's attention.
Yeah.
How about you, Robert? What are you looking forward to?
Also, Devolver Digital.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm looking forward to is definitely the Microsoft press conference. I'm hoping for more of a focus on first-party stuff.
I think everybody hopes that, though, every year.
Yeah, some years have been better than others.
Yeah.
But
I have to interject there. I think Microsoft's conferences have been below the bar every year, like so far this generation.
I will admit I popped pretty hard for when they announced original Xbox backwards compatibility.
That was the one moment
That was like,
great.
oh, holy crap.
yeah,
Sony, take that.
I'm not really an avid press conference watcher like you are. Like, I've always been content just to read the news or the articles after it happens. I think last year, maybe even the year before, I did watch a couple of the conferences, but I'm just excited about hearing what new games, what's going to catch my attention this year. And
I think one that I'm actually anticipating this year is the Nintendo stream that they're doing. I don't watch the Nintendo Directs that they do every now and then, but I've owned a Switch now for a while, and I only own 3 games for it. But every time Nintendo has something big coming out, there's always one thing that's like different from anything else that they're doing. And I think I talked about how Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle did that for me, where I was just like, holy crap, I can't believe this is happening.
Year, yeah.
And Nintendo is the one company that I'll actually expect to have something that's completely off the wall insane that is like, oh my god, somebody's doing this? It's going to sell. And I don't know how well Rabbids sold, but I'm looking forward to that.
nice.
Nintendo for me is like up and down. They'll have like really great years, and then there'll be some years where they just flatline.
Yeah.
There's no hype at all.
Those were the Wii and Wii U years.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was not a lot going on.
Especially the Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that console was dead on arrival, basically. But I know for me, like Nintendo might have some surprises in store this year.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping to see gameplay at Metroid Prime 4. I think that'll be a scene stealer, or show stealer, I should say. But other than that, though, Sony for me is going to take it.
I think it's a given that Sony is going to have the best press conference, and I'm kind of in the same camp as Robert, where I don't care as much about the press conferences because I can just go back and listen to the Pushing Buttons podcast and get all the rundown of anything I need. But oh wait, now going back to Nintendo though, as long as it's not Mr. Roboto that's doing it. If it's Shigeru Miyamoto, he is always so lively and so charming. I use that word. That's another word I use every episode. It seems is charming. It's just everything he says with such fiery passion. It just, you can tell that he loves what he's doing. But Reggie Fils-Aimé, that guy.
Yeah, he's a hype builder. He knows what he's doing.
He's something. He's scary.
He's had some interesting E3 moments.
Yeah, he's had a number of standouts.
The quote from 40-Year-Old Virgin, I don't want to end up a lampshade in some creepy guy's apartment, comes to mind. He knows his stuff. Something about those eyes, though. I don't I don't know what it is.
I can't believe he's still
Nintendo of America president, I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah.
He'll probably be presenting the Direct again this year.
I would
assume
imagine so.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's mostly an English-speaking audience, and they lose... I know us Americans lose patience with translators because we have no attention span.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably accurate.
But tying it back to our topic of, the hype of these press conferences, I mean, there are some moments in gaming history where they show a bull-shotted trailer. Like, one that definitely stands out for me was...
Do I need to Was that a swear?
No.
I don't understand.
You've heard the term bullshot, right?
I've heard the term bull.
I've
Bullshot
heard
is
that one.
basically when a game's demo is, shown off to the world, but it's CG rendered. It's not actually a depiction of the gameplay of the game.
Okay.
It's basically just amped up to
I wonder
make
if
it look
that's just
better
a,
than it actually
That's
is.
an apt description, though.
I was gonna say, I wonder if that's a play on words to be like a past
Bullshot,
past precedent of
But
bull.
I remember when Killzone 2 was first shown off in Sony's E3 conference way back when. I think it was like 2008 or something. I could be wrong. But that is the definition of bullshot.
Yeah.
Because that game did not look anywhere near as good as that initial demonstration. Because
Yeah.
they make it look like it's gameplay,
Uh-huh.
but it's actually not.
Uh-huh. Or when it is actually gameplay, and they realize that when the full game's on a disc, it either A, won't fit on that disc, or B, won't play on the actual hardware that the console is made from, because they
Yeah.
play these demos on a PC, even though the game is made specifically for, at that time, a PS3. PS3?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't work so well. Aliens, Colonial Marines.
Oh, boy. That's a big one.
I'm just going to leave it there, Aliens, Colonial Marines. But there's...
I mean, really, though, Gearbox Software, I mean, the only games they've really delivered on is Borderlands.
They've delivered pretty well on those Borderlands games, though.
But everything else has just been...
Whenever they pick up something
Terrible.
from another studio, like Duke Nukem, or
Yeah.
license something, it hasn't been the greatest ever. I'm not a Gearbox apologist, but
You're still enjoying Battleborn, though, right? That's a Gearbox game, right?
it is a Gearbox game. I played that for a week. It's because I was playing with one of my buddies. Online,
okay,
so,
I see.
Yeah, it was just a game for us to play together.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Say, Brothers in Arms was the first Gearbox game I played on the original Xbox. You guys don't remember Brothers in Arms?
That was a Gearbox game?
Yeah. Randy Pitchford.
I didn't
Gearbox?
remember that being a Gearbox game.
Yeah. Yeah. Brothers
that
in
a
Arms,
Battlefield
and then
No, it's called Brothers in Arms.
Brothers in Arms?
yeah, and then Brothers
Oh.
in Arms. I think it was Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, something like that. And then it's World War II games. I think there was 3 of them.
Huh.
The original Xbox, well, 2 on the original Xbox, and then I think 1 on the 360. Third one wasn't that great, but that's when I first knew their name. And I think the third one, I think I remember there being controversy where it was they showed a trailer at E3, and then the gameplay was nowhere near as good. But
Well, just don't do that.
I
Just
know.
don't do that.
It seems like developers have gotten a lot better at that
yeah.
lately, but you still hear about that 1 or 2 every E3.
What I like the most about E3 is when they have games on the show floor and other outlets will actually record gameplay of them playing it. And then you can actually see what it's like when somebody that plays video games and doesn't make video games feels like when they play it. I enjoy that. And that's what I like about other conventions like PAX, is that you actually get to see those live presentations of from somebody that does not have anything to do with making the game. So it's a mostly unbiased opinion of it. And you don't get Sean Murray talking about
Oh, man.
stuff that's going to be in a game.
Yeah, if we're talking about...
Yeah.
But that wasn't at
hype press
E3.
conferences.
That was at the Game Awards, or the Video Game Awards
that's right.
at that time.
It was, yeah.
I think it was before it was called the Game Awards. I think it was when it was the Video Game Awards. The VGAs.
I gotta say, they've really upped their game from previous years. The Video Game Awards specifically.
Yeah.
Like, their show last year was so fun to watch.
It
They had
was.
they had a lot of good reveals.
the one thing that everybody thinks about is Jeff Keighley's interview with the guy from that made A Way Out.
Yeah.
And that's the
I mean, unfortunately,
scene
that was the standout moment. But
I say fortunately, because not only did it bring a lot of attention to
Yeah, that's a
to
good
that,
point.
but it was entertaining. It was cringeworthy entertainment,
yeah,
but it was entertaining to watch. I enjoyed it. I was like, it's one of those things like as a professional wrestling fan, I've got a lot of things that I watch on TV that's like, why am I a fan of this? And that interview was one of those moments. Or anytime there's like 70 people up on stage at the Ubisoft press conference dancing to a song that I've never heard before. That's another one of those moments.
You remember laser tag?
I know the concept of laser tag.
No, they had a moment like a few years ago. I think it was the same year as Mr. Caffeine.
Oh, God.
But they showed like a laser tag, and a whole bunch of performers came out actually doing laser tag in the auditorium.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it was bad.
That is horrible. I like, in recent years, what Microsoft and Sony have done, because they'll just rent out a huge auditorium and just have a stage with just video. And they'll have a guy come out. They don't put any of that bullcrap presentation, like pageantry, behind it. Mm-hmm. It's just a presentation. And it almost seems like it's something that's meant for like the shareholders in the company. Like it's a
kind of more like a financial
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is what we're going to do to get all these people to buy our shit.
Right.
And it never really pans out that way.
Right.
So
And-
it's kind of like an awkward, cringeworthy.
No, it almost makes it more. It makes it better to watch because they just get straight to the point. They don't have those off the wall like presentations like laser tag or people dancing
see what you mean now,
or
yes.
like randomly show a car on stage and say, "Hey, this car is exclusive to the Xbox version of such and such game." Like
It's focusing on
cares?
what we actually care about.
Yeah, seeing
I
games.
think they've learned that we don't care about presentation and all that. We just want to know about the games, what they
Right.
do,
Right.
what they look like, and all that.
And I think that more and more publishers and other companies are getting behind that finally. But I'm surprised from the time that we were in high school to now how big E3 particularly has gotten.
Yeah,
'Cause there were-
especially after that year where it was like not even at the stadium.
Yeah.
There was a year where it was like just a bunch of hotels with kiosks. And I was like, wow, E3 is actually dying.
Yeah.
And
And
now
then
it's
all of a
blown
sudden,
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not only something that nerds like us appreciate, but it's a pop culture thing that happens once a year.
Oh, yeah, it's huge now.
Yeah. It's just crazy thinking about how few people in school I could talk to. Hey, you gonna watch the E3 stuff on G4 today? No, what's that? G4 or E3? Yeah. To now, you can just see people streaming on Twitch. Everything's on Twitch. Everything's on YouTube. You can see links to announcements and everything like immediately.
Yeah, I was going to say, that was also part of what made E3 more hype than it actually was, is when you have commentators, live blogging or live...
like actual like
live
video game
commentary.
personalities.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
people on YouTube and
Like
people on
back
Twitch.
when Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb or,
I miss them as an
Yeah.
on-screen duo.
Yeah, they were great.
Yeah, they were. I watched a lot of Adam Sessler's stuff post G4 Tech TV when he was on Revision 3, Rev 3 Games, and you could tell that he was enjoying that a lot more than he was enjoying his last 5 or so years at Tech TV, or G4. But yeah, I miss them together. They were really good at not just being able to be funny on screen, but actually being able to dissect things and present things and have a watchable show.
I mean, I would watch their interviews, and they were like a step above everybody
Oh
else.
my goodness, yeah.
They would really dive into the game, and that would excite me as a player.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I can't wait to try this. Like, I remember when they interviewed the developers behind Rage, the first one, when that was the big game of the show.
Uh-huh.
And they made it sound so fun based off of how they would answer questions about the gameplay, like crafting and
Right.
using the boomerang thing and the vehicle combat. And, it didn't turn out that
And
way.
the game was buggy and not
yeah,
so great.
It was a bit of a letdown. But I remember that E3 hype. It was like, oh man, this is going to be an awesome game when it comes out.
I do like, also, Sony tends to have Anthony Carboni doing a lot of their E3 presentation stuff. And he's a hilarious dude. If you've ever seen anything that he does, he's hilarious. But he's also really smart. He knows his stuff. He knows and loves video games. And is
Star Wars.
and Star Wars, yeah. he's a damn good presenter of that kind of stuff, and more ACARBs, please.
Yeah, I think I missed out on those guys you were talking about.
Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. Yeah, it was that was good old G4 back in the day.
Yeah, I remember when I first started paying attention to E3. That's when I had my 360, and they would actually have all the trailers and stuff for you to actually not stream, but download from the 360 marketplace. And I think they had the conference too for download. And I remember downloading those and then going and putting like 20 trailers in my download queue, downloading them and watching them. Then it's so much easier now.
Yeah, just go on to Twitch, exit the comment section, and just don't watch chat, and you'll have an enjoyable presentation of E3.
I like that the consoles actually stream it too. Like, there's lots of ways to stream it on there besides Twitch. I think YouTube even does.
Yeah, usually
streams. And,
lately anyway.
Yeah.
In the past, I always went to game trailers because I really liked everybody of that group and how they would commentate on the show and what they were personally excited for. It would get me excited.
Yeah.
But ever since they got shut down, they've become easy allies. And I don't know why, but I just can't find that same excitement from listening to them talk about games anymore. I think it was that quality production value that went into their show that I miss. Because I would watch Jeff Keighley on Game Trailers introduce the conference or whatever when they would do their live streaming events. Mm-hmm. And that just got me really hyped back then.
Personally, I look more forward to PAX Prime than any other convention. And even PAX anymore has become more and more like E3 to the point where it's got almost the same level of coverage and excitement behind it, but it feels like there's more direct to consumer content out of PAX Prime and PAX East, now PAX South, I guess. And isn't there a PAX Australia now too?
I don't know. I don't really follow PAX actually.
Gotcha. PAX is where it started off as like, it's just all the little indies that couldn't get a booth at E3.
No, it's like a whole full blown thing.
Yeah, it's not as big as E3, but I don't think it should be. It has more of a spotlight on the actual games and less on the pageantry behind the presentations. Mm-hmm. So that's why I enjoy that more. But E3 is still exciting. I like keeping up with what's coming out and stuff to look forward to and stuff to not get super excited about, because hype can be a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Overhyping a game can lead to No Man's Sky. It can lead to the Master Chief Collection. It can lead to things like that come out. And I'm glad that a lot of people are starting to take note of that when they're doing these presentations, but I'm looking for that one thing that everybody's going to be talking about for 3 months and then nobody will talk about again. It'll happen.
Yeah.
It always does.
It will. Inevitably. I mean, I remember No Man's Sky being so huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't want to brag or anything, but I'm like, this game's not going to live up to all that potential. There's no way.
Yeah.
The way they were talking about it, it just seemed so fake.
Yeah. Well,
it really did.
To me, it didn't seem like it was fake. It seemed like he was talking about stuff that he wanted to have happen and whether or not he knew it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, this is going to be a world where you can jump in and you can see other people, you can play with your friends, you can do whatever, you can build things, you can mine things, you can decide the outcome of fleet combat in space and stuff. And I feel bad for the people that were working on the game saying, oh, now we've got to implement all this.
What, 2 years later? They got almost all that now.
Yeah. I don't know how the fleet combat is in space. I mean, it existed at launch. I don't know.
Yeah.
That game,
there wasn't much to it, but at least now with the update coming up when they release for the Xbox One, it's full-fledged multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying. So, yeah. I mean, it took them a couple of years, and they probably should have waited or not said those things. But
kudos to them for doing it, though. For
not getting discouraged.
Yeah, for keeping with that, making the game what they want it to be at some point. I like that, but the hype train killed it, and
it really did.
I think that's what I dislike the most, or what I look forward to the least out of E3, is looking for these new releases. Like Beyond Good and Evil 2 was one that was announced last year.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Announced versus, actually, following up and saying, hey, guys, we're still making this game.
Right. Right. But
Technically, wasn't that announced like 10 years ago or something?
Forever
Okay,
ago.
well, I mean, as far as the current iteration
Yeah.
of it goes, but are we going to see anything out of it? Are you expecting, Kyle, to see anything out of
I
it
am,
this year?
yes.
Okay.
I'm not really as excited as I used to be for it.
Well, because it's probably going to be an open world collectathon.
Well, I mean, another good example of what I'm trying to discuss is The Last Guardian. Like, people have been waiting for that game forever.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It came out, and I'm like, I just don't care about it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was way too long in development, and I feel like this game will be the same way. I loved the first game. It was great. Really fun to play. I highly recommend it to you, Robert. That's another indie game.
How do you know I haven't played it?
I don't know. You haven't
You
talked about it
haven't.
before.
Are you assuming my play history?
I can tell by the look on your face you haven't played it.
No, I've never played it.
But
I've always heard about it.
Yeah.
anyway, I would assume it's going to follow the same route.
Crackdown 3 being delayed till 2019.
At least
Just
it
don't
came out
announce your
before.
game if you don't have a doable time frame.
This is why Microsoft press conferences, I just don't care about them as much as I used to.
I
That
like
and you
them.
don't have an Xbox, so
Well,
you
that
have no
as well.
reason to.
But
I
they
remember-
haven't given me a reason to buy one.
I remember before they came out, before the Xbox One and the PS4 both came out, I was trying to decide if I was going to buy one or the other or stick with my PC. And I'm like, well, I could buy an Xbox One because Crackdown 3. I'm glad I went with the PS4 because I've had God of War, I've had Horizon Zero Dawn, I haven't played Uncharted 4, and I'm not really caring about The Last of Us 2, but I have the option to play it.
That's a lot more than I can say for Xbox.
The thing,
I mean, the only game I'd probably play on Xbox is Halo. That's it.
yeah.
Just to see where the story goes, because I've been a huge fan of the story for that game. But nothing else, really, for Xbox One.
You'd figure for a guy like me, I'd be looking more forward to the PC Gamer Conference, but I'd never watch that any year.
Oh, that's always been a drag.
I don't think I've ever watched the entirety of that conference any year.
No,
I haven't either.
it's nothing remarkable. It's always like the bottom of the barrel stuff that people are showing for the first time,
Yeah.
or something that you already know a lot about.
Hey guys, what about Anthem?
BioWare, right?
I honestly don't know if I want to be openly pessimistic about it or secretively pessimistic about it.
Well, I mean,
You can be
considering
openly.
how hyped BioWare's last Mass Effect game, Andromeda, was, you guys actually took the day off to play it.
I would take
So-
any day off just because, though.
Well, yeah, I know, but you both took the day off to play it.
Yeah.
So I want to hear more about that.
Well, that was more because I took a week off for each of the other Mass Effect games at my prior job.
That's
So I
right,
felt like
yeah.
I had to take at least one day off for this one. I knew it wasn't going to be worth the full week. Just from the lack of stuff that they showed about it. And I know I'm kind of sounding hypocritical about it, saying, oh, don't show stuff. And now I'm saying they didn't show enough stuff. But you always get a flavor for how things are going to be when they come out based on how much actual gameplay, like you were saying, Kyle, how much gameplay they show. And I don't know. I haven't lost all my faith in BioWare as a company because I do think that Casey Hudson is good at his job and he is the vision behind it, or he has the vision behind it. Whether or not they'll be able to get the game that he wants out by the time EA wants it done is a totally another question. And I'm curious to see what they're going to show at E3 this year about it.
I remember the trailer looked cool, but hearing that there is a big emphasis on like multiplayer, co-op, whatever, like whenever that kind of stuff gets thrown in there, I kind of tune out because I just want to play single player experiences by myself. And
I was like that too, and I still am like that, but ever since starting to play Destiny 2, I'm like, I can still enjoy this somewhat as a single player experience. I don't know how Anthem's going to relate in that aspect, but I do have hopes that I can at least enjoy
And
it for a single
that's
player.
why I'm looking forward to actually learning more about it to see how it's going to be integrated and
Yeah.
what the bigger picture of the game is, and then I'll start to get either excited about it or still not caring.
Yeah.
There was another game actually that just got announced recently. Ubisoft's going to show off Division 2. And I remember when Division was first announced, it had this awesome trailer.
That trailer
Mhm.
kicked a lot of ass.
That was a bullshot trailer.
Yeah.
Because the final game was ass.
It was bull ass.
I mean, I played it like a little bit, but it just did not hold my interest whatsoever.
I saw it on sale recently for $10, and I still like, nah, too much.
Yeah. I mean, the way that these companies present these games at first, like when they first announce them, right, especially with new IPs, they have to be stellar to
Yeah.
catch your interest.
Yeah.
But with established franchises, I mean, they're relying more so on the fan base of that particular franchise while trying to widen the audience to get more people to buy it.
So do you think that us as the consumer can be part of the problem then? Because they want to push these
Absolutely.
games to be the end-all, be-all of whatever genre or whatever franchise they're a part of. And
yeah.
I know there's a lot of expectation for there to be a Splinter Cell game announced at this year's E3. And I'm personally a fan of Splinter Cell. I've played every game to at least some extent.
Same here, yeah.
I beat all of them up through the last one, Blacklist. I didn't beat that game, but I played most of it. And people are going to be expecting that, and they're going to be expecting either Michael Ironside to make a comeback as Sam Fisher.
Yeah,
and
he was saying in an interview recently he was going to come back and play the character.
right, which I didn't mind them getting rid of him. I loved his Sam Fisher, but it wasn't
Blacklist
what
actor
made
was
the
good.
game. Yeah, he was really good.
I really liked his voice work in that game.
For me, it's not just about who voices the character. You need to have a solid game behind it. And Conviction was not that game. Double Agent was not that game.
Not really, no.
Blacklist was pretty damn good. And I think there's a lot of hype behind it. The hype train's getting behind it. So if they're either going to announce exactly what it is and it's going to seem like a letdown, or they're going to hype it up to meet everyone's expectations and it's not going to live up.
I mean, Splinter Cell's always been solid. I mean, even though Double Agent and Conviction were not
Conviction
as good
was
as-
so bad.
I mean, it still was a fun game. I really enjoyed the co-op playing with my brother at the time.
I enjoyed the Chaos Theory co-op.
Chaos Theory was great.
That was really good.
Yes. Yeah, we had a lot of fun times with that.
God, yeah.
Yeah.
That was so good. 'Cause that was the first time that Splinter Cell had any kind of co-op.
And the multiplayer, too, was a lot of fun.
Uh-huh.
Spies and Mercs.
Yeah. Well,
was great.
I didn't get too into that, but
That was really cool at the time, though. I really enjoyed that in the second game. Was it Pandora Tomorrow?
yeah.
That's when it first came out?
Oh,
That
I don't know.
multiplayer?
I don't know about that. I know the
Maybe it
co-op
was
didn't
Chaos
start
Theory.
until Chaos Theory.
Maybe it was Chaos Theory then. But yeah, that was a...
I didn't like Pandora Tomorrow either.
Well, yeah, that one was pretty forgettable.
Yeah.
I haven't played any Splinter Cell games, so I am kind of hoping that they announce something for a new Ghost Recon game. So I really enjoyed Wildlands.
The last one, the last Ubisoft Tom Clancy game that came out was Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Well, that was like 2 years ago now.
Yeah. So they'll probably hit up Splinter Cell, then go back to Rainbow Six with the Division thrown in there. I don't expect a Ghost Recon game. With
It's
the game
kind of like my outside hope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
They might
I don't
announce
expect
an
them
expansion to it.
But, yeah.
I mean, 2 years later would be a little late, but
Yeah.
I mean, with
They've already
Destiny
had-
2 looking like it's going to be a 10-year-long game.
No kidding.
Well, they say that, but
Yeah, it's
wasn't
not
the
gonna
original
happen.
Destiny was like 2 years or something?
Something like that, yeah.
I know for me, leading back into Activision, like BlizzCon is a huge driver of hype for their franchises.
Yeah.
And tying back to what we said earlier about relying on the fan base, that's their lifeblood. And for me personally, I get super hyped for BlizzCon. Seeing all the new announcements for expansions to games I already love. Like that to me is really personal, and I really enjoyed my time watching all the game developer announcements as well as the making behind
Yeah.
all the games.
I just thought of something. Remember when you were talking about how you like having the personalities being the one introducing things
yeah.
and seeing, and I was talking about like Twitch and YouTube and stuff. Wasn't it EA last year that tried to have actual YouTube and Twitch personalities at the presentation.
Oh yeah,
And it was a disaster.
It was terrible. I remember. Yeah,
I want more of that, please. That was fantastic.
Well, they're first up to bat tomorrow, or for us tomorrow.
Yeah, that was horribly amazing.
It really was.
I just remembered that. I think I blocked it from memory.
I don't blame you. It was a really bad show last year.
Oh, goodness gracious.
All they had was Battlefront 2, and of course they showed Anthem off, but there wasn't enough to go on.
Right.
I wonder if they'll show or say anything about a new Star Wars game.
You know, it's very possible.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Since
It's been, 2 or 3 years since they've said they're working on, 2 or 3 games?
Well, I mean, since 1313 got canceled and then the Visceral game got scrapped and is being redone,
Yep.
they may announce whatever that new version of the Visceral game might be.
I would like to get some more Star Wars stuff besides Battlefront.
I would appreciate some Star Wars as well, but I think for that Visceral game that is being redone from the ground up, they're probably going to wait till Anthem comes out and see how that does, and then make that Star Wars game using the Anthem engine, whatever version of the engine that they're using for that. Frostbite, I believe, is the engine that they're using. Could be. I don't know.
No.
Don't quote me.
Well, I know we can always look forward to more EA Sports games.
Woo!
Those are always fun to watch.
That's one thing I don't get is a yearly football game. It's
I don't know. I don't understand.
That's how they make
that
their money,
either.
I guess.
yeah, but I mean, what changes so much every year that you have to buy it every year?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of WWE, but I only buy one of those games probably every 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's just because they add a hell of a lot of mechanics and gameplay modes to the game in those 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
I got 2K16, so we'll see where 2K22 looks like.
Sweat's coming out of the screen.
Yeah.
I have to say, every time they have their EA Sports segment, I just mute the TV and I just make something to eat. Happens every year. I'm like, okay.
I should have written down the E3 schedule.
That would have been a good
I
idea.
have it
Do you?
Yeah.
Like printed?
in my head.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, EA's first on Saturday. And then on Sunday, you have Microsoft.
Bethesda, right?
Microsoft first. They're at 10:30 in the morning.
I didn't know we were going in order.
Oh. Bethesda's Sunday night. And then Devolver Digital after that.
I'm curious what Devolver is going to do this year.
Oh, their E3 conference
That was hilarious.
fucking awesome.
That was hilarious last year.
I need to watch that, apparently.
Oh, you really do. It's hilarious.
It
if
was-
you watched E3 in the past.
It was just their way of making fun of E3, and it was fantastic, and they still
perfect.
announced new games. It was great. It was exactly... That press conference is to E3 what Devolver Digital published games are to video games. It was the perfect analogy, and it was great. And I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to what they're doing this year, whatever it
It's
is.
going to be a good weekend for us.
Well, with E3 coming up for us and already past for you, I'm excited-ish. As excited as I can be about it. Next week, I know we're going to talk about what happened at E3, what we are taking out of it. And it's kind of stupid to have predictions and stuff, I think, about it, because most of what's going to be announced has already either been spoiled by Walmart or Steam, or a lot of it's already out there. So
I mean, IGN today already had a bunch of announcements.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So we'll be talking more about that next week, and I'm looking forward to sitting and fast forwarding through most of E3.
well, I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good E3. Lots of cool games are going to be showing off for the first time. Me personally, Death Stranding is the top of my list. I have to see gameplay.
I'm super curious about that
Yeah.
game. Whether or not I end up ever buying it, I am so interested in it, just to see what it is.
How about you, Robert? You got anything you're dying to see?
Well, I'll jump on the Death Stranding train, too. I was going to say plane. I don't know why.
Jump on a Death Stranding plane.
I really am interested to actually, see more about it. All the Sony stuff, I'm excited to see. I am excited, or I'm hoping that Sony unveils the Spider-Man PS4 that was rumored to be leaked like a month or so back.
That thing looks pretty cool.
It looks cool, and
if it's true.
if it is, I hope they announce it, and then I'll pre-order that so I can get that in September. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm just gonna whatever comes my way.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, I teased it a little bit last week, but there is something else that I want to do on this show from time to time, and it's a way for us to get some more content on our YouTube channel that is actually going to have video attached to it. It's not going to be an audio-only thing. I want to end up getting gameplay videos of us, whether it's me or all three of us or either of you, then our impressions of games, old, new, etc., etc. And the way that I thought of at least deciding what the first one is going to be is Robert and Kyle will decide, but it will be based on a trivia game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Video game trivia.
This sounds fun.
And I didn't get as good of questions. I think a lot of these are softball questions.
Okay.
I knew all the answers to all of them, besides the potential tiebreaker question. That one I had to look up.
It's a good thing we're sitting on the same side on the table.
Did you bring buzzers?
You guys will have 3 separate questions.
Okay.
They'll be different. First question for each is worth 1 point.
Okay.
Second question's 2 points. Third question's 3 points.
Okay.
And you guys will have separate questions.
Okay.
If you guys end up having a tie, there is one tiebreaker question. That'll be whoever gets the closest to the correct answer.
Okay.
That's on.
So, I didn't decide who was going to go first, but let's go with the youngest. We're going to go with Robert going first.
Woohoo!
Are you going to do like one question back and forth?
Yes.
Never been
Okay.
on a game show before.
All right, Robert. For 1 point, the category is what's in a name.
Oh.
I was going to have multiple categories, and you guys were going to... It's going to be kind of like Jeopardy, but you wouldn't have to answer with a question. You could have answered with an answer instead.
Okay.
But I only came up with enough for one full section, one category. So, what's in a name for 1 point?
Okay.
Robert, what is the name of the Wookiee companion in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic?
Oh, man. Do I know this one?
Ah.
That's a good one.
This one should have been the 3-pointer now that I'm seeing your reactions to it.
Oh, man.
It was the first question that came to my mind, and I knew the answer off the top of my head for some reason.
I do know this. I just got to remember.
I mean, that's close. That was actually a pretty good impression. I'll give you half a point for that if you want it.
Sure, I'll take it because I don't know.
Can I try and guess the correct
Does it
answer?
start with an L?
It does not start with an L.
T.
It's a Z, isn't it?
Do you want to pass?
I can pass.
You can pass it to Kyle, and then... I didn't think of this if you don't answer the question. Oh, if the other person answers it, it's worth half a point, I'll say, and you didn't get half a point for that. I'm making these rules up on the fly.
Okay.
Do you pass?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know the answer, but I'm going to guess. It's going to be wrong.
Okay.
Zanzibar.
That is actually fairly close.
I know it's wrong.
The correct answer is Zalbar.
Zalbar.
Oh.
I had two
now
syllables.
It sounds familiar.
Now I'm going to feel like
Zalbar.
I guess I won't feel like a complete ass if Kyle can get this next one, because I thought they were both of the same level. Apparently, that one was a lot harder. I apologize.
That was pretty hard for Robert, I think. Yeah.
All right, Kyle, for 1 point. What is the name of the main playable character in Bioshock Infinite?
Booker.
Full name. Sorry.
Booker DeWitt.
All right,
point.
so 1 to Kyle.
Robert, for 2 points.
Okay.
What is the name of Gearbox's 2016 character-based first-person shooter? That question was set aside for Kyle, but I had to ask you.
Damn it.
I said this earlier, too.
Yeah, it was spoken of.
The only thing I can think from them recently is Borderlands.
Oh.
I'll still give it for 1/2 of 1 point. Even though this is worth 1 point, Kyle, if you'd like to steal, you'll get a half a point.
Battleborn.
0.5.
I'm sorry, Robert. I'm sorry.
All right, Kyle,
All right.
for 2
Yes.
points.
Okay.
What is the name of the action RPG designed by R.A. Salvatore, developed by 38 Studios, published by EA? Developed by 38 Studios and Big Huge Games. And I'll give you a hint, it was in 2012.
R.A. Salvatore?
Yeah.
38 Studios?
38 Studios, Big Huge Games, published by EA. It was
Big
on
Huge
the
Games.
Xbox 360, PS3, and PC.
Oh, man.
I know he's a fantasy author.
I don't know. I don't have a clue. I'll pass.
For 1/2 of a point, Robert.
Neverwinter Nights?
The correct answer is Kingdoms of Amalur. Reckoning.
Oh, right.
What's Neverwinter Nights?
Never-
Neverwinter
popped in my
Nights is
head.
from BioWare.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a good question. I didn't think of it that way. But, yeah, I never played that one. It's on my Steam catalog, though.
I
Backlog.
tried it. It sucked.
There you go.
You're killing me.
All right.
Good question. I liked it.
Gotta
Final-
give me Xbox questions.
Final question for Robert. For
3
3
points or nothing.
points. Which biblical character do you play as in the original Darksiders game?
Which one is he?
That's a really good question.
It is, and there's 4 choices.
It took me a while to figure it out.
I know it's between 2, but I can't remember who was in the first and who was the second.
50-50.
I know.
Go with your gut. What would they... Okay. What would they want to have as the main character of the first game if they didn't know there was going to be a sequel? That's the way I would look at it.
War.
Correct.
Yes, you got it. Good job.
I was almost going to go with...
Death? That's
Yeah,
the one
that's
you were
the
going
one
to
I
go
was-
with.
That's
Yeah.
Darksiders 2, yeah.
Darksiders 3 I'm actually anticipating. I
Really?
didn't play much of the first one. I didn't play any of the second one. Good job with that.
Thank
Robert.
you.
Yeah.
I've only
Sweating
played the
bullets
first
over
one.
here.
I am.
And now
I
I feel
enjoyed that
bad
game.
because I know Kyle can get this last one pretty easily, I'm thinking. But I knew he would have gotten that one too.
Yeah.
Kyle for 3 points.
Kyle's going to get any question.
I
not
didn't.
fair.
I didn't. I didn't get the last one.
This is kind of a gauge for me too because I know how hard I need to make them
Yeah.
and if I can tailor questions to one person
Just
or
ask
another.
me questions about sports games.
All
I'll
right.
lose.
Not to do with sports games though.
Okay.
For 3 points, Kyle.
Yeah.
In Dragon Age Origins, the main character joins a group of warriors and defenders of the realm called what?
Oh man, that's a good one. Shoot. Just their group name, like
Yeah.
as a party.
Yes. Not the
Oh, man.
yeah, it's the group of people that have defended the realm from the
You don't mean like the main character, what he joins.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know it's Gray something. I'm really close. I just can't remember the last part of it.
This
Damn
is
it.
fun. I'm
Gray-
enjoying this. I'm enjoying this so much.
I know this. I just can't seem to remember it.
See, I'm terrible at trivia when I'm put on the spot.
Yeah.
So I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Pushing my
Hey,
buttons.
you got the answers over there.
It's worth the stress, but I knew the answers to all
Oh,
these
man.
questions. That's
Yeah.
why I was able to come up with them.
What is it?
If you guys came up with questions, I wouldn't be able to answer them.
Let's ask you all Halo
Do I
questions.
get half a point for saying Gray?
Judges? No, you don't.
Oh,
Sorry,
my
not.
goodness.
It's out of my hands.
Oh, shoot.
It wouldn't matter. You're at 1.5 points, and he's at 3. So you either get it or you don't.
Yeah. And you said I know everything.
Well, you do.
I do like stealing for half of a point. I like that.
I'm really trying, but man, I just can't seem to come up with it.
Is that a pass?
It's a pass.
Grey
Robert.
Wardens?
Yes.
Oh, damn it. That's it.
I knew that, and I've never played the game.
Do you guys want to try the
Such a
tiebreaker? It will be
distinct-
worth 0 points, or I can. I say I could
Give it
keep
to
it in
us.
my back pocket for
Well,
another day, but no, it's
it's
all
up to
right.
you.
It's all right.
You can come up with more tiebreakers.
Whoever gets closest will just have a little bit of bragging rights.
If I get this right, do we go to another tiebreaker?
We'll
Not how tiebreakers.
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Okay.
All right. The tiebreaker question, which doesn't mean anything because Robert won. In what year was legendary game designer Shigeru Miyamoto born?
Oh, that's impossible.
1956?
And what do you say?
1959?
Robert was 4 off. 1952.
Damn.
That was
Man, he's old. He's getting up there.
all right.
Congratulations, Robert. You won.
Good job.
It was looking rough there for a minute.
So out of my Steam backlog, I chose 5 games that I think would be easy for me to install, to record a video on, etc., etc. And I think I know which one you're going to pick out of these 5. But I'm going to give them to you anyway.
Okay.
Your choices: Cook Serve Delicious 2, Saints Row 4, The Banner Saga, Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, and the one I think you're going to pick, Oddworld New and Tasty.
I would say you picked the Assassin's Creed game, but
That's because Robert and I were talking about Oddworld New and Tasty like a week ago.
oh, I see.
Well, specifically, I was talking about Oddworld Stranger's Wrath.
Oh, I thought you were talking about New and Tasty.
No,
Oh,
Stranger's
I
Wrath.
don't know if I have that one.
And actually, I'm going to go with something neither of you expect. Banner Saga.
Nice. That was the one I least expected anyone to pick.
Because I remember hearing a lot about it when it came out, because I remember the whole thing with, I think, Candy Crush Saga, and they were like having a feud with them.
Because of the word saga?
Yeah. And so that put it on my radar, and I started reading about it, and the
Gotcha.
art style was like, oh, that looks really cool. So
The art style is really cool,
Yeah.
and it's a turn-based... Well, you'll see a video on it at some point.
I'm excited to now.
But yeah, I did play it for a little bit, but now I'm excited to play it again.
Nice.
And yeah, so look for a video on that coming soon to our YouTube channel. God, I want more trivia now.
It
Just
gets
come
in
up
your
with stuff.
blood.
I'm gonna try to think of something every week now. 'Cause it's not enough just to
one more.
have.
One more.
I can't just come up with something off
You
the
can.
cuff like that.
You can.
Hold on, I'm just gonna have a lot more to edit now. Thanks, Kyle.
You got the whole weekend.
Yes.
When EA Sports is on, just edit.
Okay. In classic first-person shooter Doom 2, what is the name of the weapon that can destroy... the best weapon in the game that can destroy anything on screen in one shot?
I'll let Robert go first.
BFG?
And Kyle?
BFG. 9,000.
There you go! Correct answer is the BFG 9000.
9,000.
Thank you. I was going to be offended if you just left it at BFG.
I haven't played him, so I've only heard the gun from...
And that was going to be a question that I asked for another category, but that was a lot of fun. If you guys enjoyed it, I know Robert and Kyle did. I know I did. If you did,
Yeah.
just like the video, share the video, like the podcast audio, share the audio.
Like us.
Just love me like I love you.
If you feel like leaving a comment on E3, what you're personally looking forward to, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, hit us up on Twitter, Pushing Buttons P.
Yeah.
Send us an email. Look us up on our website, pushingbuttonspodcast.com.
Comment on the YouTube videos as well.
Yes, please do that. Because at this point, we can almost guarantee that as of this recording, we can respond to any any of your comments that you'd like us to. Thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed us. Look us up on the social medias and on our website, and we'll see you around next week.
Thanks for having me back, guys.
It's good having you back on solid
Good to
ground.
have you back there.
All right, until next time, love you.